kind of an under-the-radar deal as the Bills signed Curtis Samuel to a 3-year deal. I think the key thing here is, Matthew, with Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator in Buffalo, that's when Curtis Samuel was at his best with the Panthers, a career-high 851 receiving yards. So clearly Joe Brady is in this guy's corner and bringing him to the Bills.
You know, this is a really underrated signing and really good. I mean, Curtis Samuel is going to be a sleeper next year, and rightfully so. The anti-Curtis Samuel argument is they got Dalton Kincaid, they got Khalil Shakir. All of a sudden, like it's slot receiver central because of Kincaid and Shakir, where they're going to line up as well.
Diggs bounces in and out.
Diggs bounces in and out, and we expect the Bills to draft a wide receiver as well. They need somebody on the outside. But having said that, Samuel is so versatile, still has that burst. You know, again, Washington was such a mess offensively last year and has been for a while under Ron Rivera. But the fact is he can play. And it's worth noting that the last year, the Bills, top 4 in the NFL in terms of slot targets. So that is something that they like to do in terms of where Josh Allen likes to throw, in terms of what they like to target. And so Curtis Samuel becomes kind of interesting here. It's a versatile player in a much better offense than he's ever played in.
Yep. I think the sneaky thing with Curtis Samuel as well is the Bills, if you're worried about them being the heavy run offense that they were at the end of last season, well, one, their defense, I think, unambiguously has gotten worse just because they've lost. I mean, they lost both Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. And then also, their schedule is ridiculous. Like their schedule next season, so they play the AFC South and the NFC West, which is fine. Those are probably mid-tier divisions. Then they play their own division and having to play 4 games against the Jets and the Dolphins. But the thing is, their 3 extra games are against the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Lions. But that is brutal. Those have to be the 3 hardest extra games that any team gets. Yeah. So I think they're going to have to be throwing a ton.
And so you said NFC West as well. So
NFC West, there's no
Niners,
pushovers there. The Niners,
the Rams. The Rams offense.
Every team
is
capable.
Yeah.
And then the AFC South, which historically has been a bit of a dumpster fire, like Jags,
better.
Texans, Colts. The Texans and Colts games are on the road. Even like the Titans. The Titans might be somewhat plucky. Like the Titans aren't going to be like a 3-win team or anything.
No.
So like basically every game is difficult outside of maybe the Patriots games. But they're going to be throwing a lot.
And of course, when there's Bills wide receiver news, there's always a little Stefon Diggs. I don't want to call it drama, but always a tweet, as we should say. Ready for whatever, Stefon Diggs said, as you see right here.
Yeah, that's Stefon Diggs, friend of the podcast, the chief ball officer.
That's what they call him.
Of course, Stefon Diggs. So, by the way, just for the kids watching, whatever has an H usually.
Yes.
So it's misspelled there, but yeah.
The British spelling.
Is that?
That's what producer Pete's telling me.
I don't think that's correct.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a thing.
They spell it in Newcastle.
No. Yeah, so it's ready for whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
The problem is he was so bad at the end of last season, he's got no trade value on his contract.
And it's a
really
bad contract. I don't know if they can't move that.
No.
They didn't need to sign that extension.
You just need him to get back to who he was.
I mean, I will tell you that I so many sort of nuggets from from the combine. I think this made this into the column, but I remember talking to a Bills source who basically told me, that the Bills actually still believe in Stefon Diggs. That they believe that last year down the stretch, the lack of production was partially because there were a couple of big plays that just missed between him and Allen. Like if those hit, it looks a lot different and just sort of game script, and there was just a weird game here or there. But they still believe that Diggs can be a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL. And also just to the point is it's like their contract. The Diggs' contract is unmovable. If they move him after June 1st, it's maybe it's a livable cap hit, but just honestly, the expectation is Stefon Diggs is a Buffalo Bill this season.
Yep. I think there's something weird going on there.
It's definitely something weird.
To me, the smoking gun was that Philadelphia game that they lost, the epic game in the rain where Jake Elliott hits like the 63-yarder. Like that was a game. The Bills 5-5, I think, going into that game. That was kind of for their season. Now they ended up going on a run after. That was a massive game. Diggs wasn't out there on third downs. Like he was constantly off the field on third downs, despite playing on first and second. It's like, what's going on? Like there had to be, some weird stuff there. I mean, he's still a good receiver. He still produced enough down the end of the season. But, I mean, he was the guy who's being talked about in the same vein and breath as, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. Like, that he seems well departed from
No, I mean, listen, in one of my dynasty leagues, I was making a stretch run. I was the number 1 overall team. And I traded a first-round pick this year for Diggs, like week 7 or 8 last year. I finished third. I did not win the league. It's disappointing. I had some injuries down the stretch too, but still, which is one of the reasons why I traded for Diggs. But I massively regret that trade now. I would very much like to have a first-round pick right now instead of Stefon Diggs sitting on my, built-to-win dynasty team. But what are you going to do? Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.